Ladies and gentlemen, global Black attorneys are coming together to file a complaint with the UN over the treatment of African refugees. So it includes, of course, Ben Crump. I wish y'all would come together and get our reparations. An allegiance of prominent civil rights lawyers from around the world on Wednesday announced it will file an appeal to the United Nations on the behalf of Black refugees facing discrimination while trying to flee Ukraine. The group includes Ben Crump, civil rights attorney for the family of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, attorney Jasmine Rand, who represented the families of Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown, Peter Herbert, one of Britain's few non white judges, Jamaican Member of Parliament G. Anthony Hilton, British solicitor Jacqueline McKenzie, and Carlos Moore, president of the National Bar Association in the U.S. They plan to file an appeal to the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, as well as the UN's Committee of the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. So Ben Crump also sent out a tweet, and this is March 2nd, 2022 at 8:57 a.m. Media alert at Attorney Crump and Attorney Jasmine Rand, who represented the family of George Floyd, have convened a civil uh, society coalition to file an urgent appeal before the United Nations on the behalf of African refugees facing racial discrimination in Ukraine and Poland. Okay, earlier this week, Filippo Grandi, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, and so what they did was they said they were acknowledging that some Africans looking to escape the Russian invasion of Ukraine had experienced discriminatory practices at the country's border. Such blatant racism cannot be tolerated. Human rights of Black and Brown people, prominently students situated in Ukraine, must be honored and safe exit facilitated for all, for free of discriminatory selection processes at borders. The targeting of Black and Brown people in this way is a racist human rights abuse on top of a human rights crisis impacting all people forced to flee Ukraine. Robert A. Sanders, a retired U.S. Navy judge, advocate, General's Corp captain, and a legal and national security educator at the University of New Haven, hailed the lawyer's announcement. It's totally appropriate, Sanders told NBC News. All right, so it's completely appropriate for the same body to examine what Ukraine is doing, which, while sad, is not surprising because we live in a world that has structures and systemic peace build up over centuries that make Black and Brown people less than. All right, this is all in the article, y'all. All right. So of course you got still the Africans coming out and giving their stories about when they attempted to pack up and leave and arrived to the border and faced all kinds of discrimination at the border and how they were denied entry into what they consider safe countries. Obviously they're not. In fact, I wouldn't trust a country that wouldn't let me in because there's a war going on. I wouldn't believe that country was safe. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't believe that at all. All right. So when Raji and friends attempted to flee to Poland this week, she said they endured what other Africans had shared around the world via social media. They were not allowed to board two trains, and Ukrainians want their people to go first. Raji said the reports of the trouble at the borders for Black people have been beneficial in her attempts to leave, even though she had trouble getting across. She eventually made it into Poland. We took the train because we heard that was easier at the border, she said, but it was really hard to get onto the train as Blacks. They prioritize people, especially women and children, the Ukrainians that want their people to go first. Sanders said it was disingenuous for non Black people to dismiss the early reports of racism at the border. Well, that they do that even if you weren't at that border. Anything that is racist and they know it's wrong, they always try to be dismissive. That is just a global thing they do. It doesn't matter where you are. They do that all around the globe. They do that very much here. Very good at doing that here in America. One of those things that struck me was the immediate failure of white people all over the place, he said, to be in disbelief that racism was happening at the border. Oh, well, there must be some other reason why they're holding them back. They're letting women and children out. I hear that and I say, you're giving me an invalid excuse because you can't fess up and come to grips with the reality of the world that you live in. And in part, some of you helped create. Yes, they did. They created this centuries ago, and the people living now, they make sure they continue to uphold it while at the same time denying racism. That's what they do. Okay. Safely in Poland, Raji said a non governmental organization helped her and her friends get settled. She said the Polish people were not the problem at the border. They were very accommodating, she said. They are really nice. There are many organized by NGOs for foreigners because of what they are hearing online. So I think the awareness is what has helped us. Yeah, because they're embarrassed that it went out worldwide. So, anything to save face, but I sure wouldn't trust it even if they were being nicer because, you know, you're one way at the border and then nicer in the country. Nah, I ain't buying it. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this story, about these global lawyers coming together. I wish they would come together to fight for our reparations, being that slavery was global, it was everywhere. So these same people from different countries, y'all can come together as one and go and fight for our reparations. That's the way I see it. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this story. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.